So Francis, this is Sally, right?
This is Sally. Sally is solely responsible for the famous fresh mozzarella cheese that we have here at the Romos Gourmet Market. I mean,
Look at this, it's unbelievable.
I can't tell you. This is an art. It's a specialty. This is one of this is one of the positions and one of the people that we talked about earlier. How you have to have specialty people doing special things to make us different. And Sally happens to be one of those people in many different areas, not just the cheese, but in the wine and the antipasto bar. She helps with that as well. But you know, the butteriness, the softness, the texture. Most people don't notice, but we leave our mozzarella out. When it's made, we tell the customer, leave it on the counter in your house for 2 days. You don't put it in the refrigerator. And then after 2 days, you put it in the refrigerator. But it's the process. The hands, you have to be able to tolerate hot water. You have to know when you're stretching it with the paddle, not to stretch too much. How many times to fold it. I mean, so there's so much involved with fresh mozzarella. And Sally does it so well. How many years you doing this, Sally? Come on.
I don't know, 10 years maybe?
Yeah,
wow.
Over 10 years.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, it makes a world of a difference.
Look at this, look at that.
Yeah, see
Sally,
the shine and the sheer and the smoothness of that rolls into the product, the end product.
All right. So how many times do you do this, Sally? What you're doing right now?
What, a day, sir?
Couple.
It's pounds. I do it like by the pounds. Today I'll do 20 pounds. In the season on Saturdays we can make 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yes.
And what you're doing right now, you're stretching it. And what's the reason behind that?
Well, because mozzarella is a stretched cheese, as well as like provolone, caciocavallo. There's many stretched cheeses around the world in different cultures.
Wow, wow. That looks unbelievable.
Now she's actually forming the cheese.
Wow.
And that's how it gets tucked in, but you don't want to over tuck it because it'll make it tough. So you tuck it in just enough so it's tender and buttery. And then after that, there's our bowl of fresh mozzarella.
Look at that.
Right into the water.
Now, is this water cold?
Cold water.
Cold water.
So you start with the hot water and you go into the cold water.
And then they get wrapped individually.
Wow.
Now we make the braided, we make it with prosciutto and pesto, we do all different types. We carry over 100 varieties of cheese from all over the world.
She does this, really?
Our hard and soft cheeses. We try to educate the people with signs and information about the cheeses. On the back it tells you the regions, the sharpness, the smoothness, the buttery taste, depending on the cheese that we're presenting. Really try.
Again, more examples of your cheese department here in the cross promotion you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And people come in here and they look for certain crackers. If we can, one thing I want to expound on a little bit is that when a customer comes into our market, if we don't have a product or they want to bring us a label or a picture on their phone, we have what we call a customer request book. So we put that product in there, we search it out. When we find it and we get it in, we call them up and they come in and get their product. And if it's a mover, it's a keeper, we keep it going. We have thousands and thousands of products.
Nobody does that.
Exactly. So it's all about the customer service. Listen, in the front, I wrote out a whole thing about the customer. I wrote that. It says, without the customer, we don't exist. So there's all criteria involved with that, and it's very important. So
that's the primo thing in your mind
without
every
the customer,
single day.
We don't exist, and we try to drill that in all of our employees at the Romos because, you know what, they can go. They have a lot of other options, maybe not the same setting as we have, but for the most part, you know, people have other places they can go.
So Francis, here we are in your wine area, and one of the things I want you to talk about is your wines that you import from Italy, but this has the Romo label on it.
Yes. Well, as any meal, a good accompaniment to any meal is a good bottle of wine or a good glass of wine.
Right.
And we carry about 300 varieties of wines in our wine department to try to accommodate any palate. Whether you're buying fish and you want some good white wine, or you're buying the red meats and you want a red wine, you know. But we felt it was very important to have our own labeled wine. And we worked really hard on this, and I was very blessed. And I have to give the credit to Mr. Opici from Opici Wines, who took a step of faith in me and in this concept with me, and was able to make that happen for me. So we have 6 varietals of wines. We had gotten a container of wine when we first had opened, and it was gone. And the container wine consists of 2,500 cases.
Wow.
And we went through it in 3 months.
Wow.
Between the restaurant and the market, 3 or 4 months. And the wine is very good quality. We really tasted many different wines, and we narrowed it down to these 6 wines that come from northern Italy.
I think there's a story behind this. I think once you told me about the back room of the restaurant, the back room of the market.
Yes.
Was that the inspiration for a lot of this?
I wanted the restaurant to be like that back room, that feeling like behind the market was this industrial with the barn doors and the wrought iron and all the products.
What a great concept.
Like shelving, so that it was like that back room. Like I was trying to tell you, you go to Italy into vineyards, you go out into the fields, and then all of a sudden they bring you where all the barrels are, and you try wines, and then they say, okay, come to this back room where the wine barrels have the cheeses and the bread and the wine by the glass, and you're sampling all that stuff in that little back room. So we wanted the restaurant to have that feel where you segue from the market into the storage room, the back room, and that's why I did that.